let it go. That's the art of letting go. A lot of it was born out of a conversation, believe it or not. I was on tour. We were on tour doing Ides of March. This is like 2021, 22. And our drum tech was like, you know, I like how you rearrange the songs for live compared on the first two records. Out of necessity, because we're just a three-piece. And so we rock the tracks out a little bit. You know, obviously I can't take, you know, multiple, I don't have someone there to play the lap steel and the mandolin, all the things I would enjoy doing in the studio, you know, wouldn't bring people out to do that. Just wanted to keep it slim and trim. So we rock it out more, and he's like, I like these arrangements. You should record these versions one day. And I was like, well, what if we just made an entire record that was already essentially, you know, the same approach from an arrangement standpoint. So that's what this is. It's definitely a rock record. It's definitely a departure from where this started in 2017, 2018 with Year of the Tiger. But it's been fun. I really enjoyed it. Absolutely, yeah. We actually just did like pre-rehearsals, just kind of warm up and get a feel for like what was going to work, just to make sure. And everything worked. Everything was just like, oh, that song, that's easy. I mean, this is, whereas it used to be, we'd get together and like, oh, let's try this song from the record. Oh man, that's really hard without this instrument, without the mandolin part, or without. So we all kind of breathed a sigh of relief. And we're like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun record to tour. It's very immediate. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in interpreting anything that's created the way that you best see fit to resonate in your own life. You know, it's something I've learned, like as a lyricist, is to, you know, to get the point across, but leave a certain level of ambiguity so that people can fill in the blanks. You know, I feel like that's, I don't know, it's something I enjoy the challenge too, because sometimes that's really hard. So hopefully people will find a place for it in their life. Because I didn't have a story, like the first record is a story, right? It's the story of a period in my life when I lost my dad and Mom was trying to pick up the pieces. So that was, and on the second Ides of March, it was really just ultimately reflecting everything that was going on with the world at that given moment. It's a snapshot. This is more of a snapshot of where I'm at right now on my journey. Obviously, different. There are different themes and different emotions and different philosophies explored, but yeah, I think it is very personal and very introspective. And I think maybe there are more songs on this record, perhaps, where I've written songs like this with the other bands as well, but I'm writing them with the goal of reminding myself that I need to remember these things. And so that's a delicate dance, because my fear is always when you do that you're going to come across as being preachy, right? But I need, where I'm at in life and how important it is for me to hear a message over and over, and to hear a message married with a melody. It's funny how effective that is, for at least how my brain is, and I talk with other people, it's the same way. So it's kind of a selfish endeavor, you know. It's a song like The Art of Letting Go, you know, it's very like, I'm telling myself, you know, to be like water, learn to go with the flow. And it's in a song like Nothing Left to Gain, you know, that's there to remind me that intrinsic happiness is right here, right now. I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to get anything. I can sit right here, and if I become present and am mindful of everything at this current moment, I might be surprised with, you know, the quality of life that I think I don't have. It's all there. So it's a reminder for myself, telling yourself, yeah, you're just trying to kind of flip it around you. But I hate even doing that, like the pointing, because it's like this is the thing I'm talking about, where I'm like, I try to be very careful, and especially when you're dealing with subject matter that is there's a certain, I guess, depth kind of. But that's just something I need right now. I need to remind myself, because I'm trying to evolve. I've been on this, it really started on the Walk the Sky record. Like the Walk the Sky record was with Alter Bridge. That record was really kind of the start of me discovering certain things. And so I did kind of the same thing with a few of those songs, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time, and I'm getting kind of foggy in my old age. But yeah, it's just the approach that took this time. Could be talking to myself, you know. That song was written, the genesis of the lyric, and that intro part was in a dressing room, and I was feeling pretty lonely. You know, I was away from my family, and it was that realization that, as the lyric goes, you know, the long, never-ending road that's pretending to be your home. You know, I love touring and I love making music, but home is home. And I've said that in interviews, like, oh, home for me is the road. Well, yes and no. The reality is home is, you know, where your family is. And the trade-off I've made as an artist is that I'm trading memories that I'll never get back. Building memory, being at home, being with my family, that I won't have the chance to live that day again with them. So the only thing I can do is, you know, address that and put it into song and try and deal with it, you know. A lot of these concepts are things I need to remind myself of, right? And so if people listen to them and go, you know what, I feel that way too, I would like that too. I would like to be more at peace. I would like to be less reactive. Man, whatever's going on with that song, I'm connecting with that, and so therefore it works in my life as well. But I would be disingenuous if I said I'm writing it that way because I want to expose people to this way. I'm actually kind of, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be preachy. And that's the challenge with doing this way and touching on some of this subject matter, is people are still going to hear, well, that's being preachy. And I get it. But at the same time, this is the selfish part of doing it this way, of making solo records. I need to do this it's for me. You see what I'm saying? It's a delicate dance where you kind of feel like you're dancing on a razor blade. Well, it was the last song that was finished. It was actually finished in the studio. Normally I don't like to do that, but that's a long story in and of itself. But it was inspired by a movie called Speak No Evil, which I think is like, I think it was made like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But it addresses something that I'm very, a theme that, and a circumstance that I'm trying to work on in this desire to be better, be an improved version of Myles, which is not to be such a pushover. You know, I like people to be comfortable. I like people to be happy, and I'll do what I can to make people happy and be a people pleaser. But then sometimes you get taken advantage of, and sometimes you sell yourself short. You know, so that movie it's a really nice parable about why you shouldn't do that and the outcome of what can happen. And it's pretty brutal. The movie's it's dark and it's effed up, you know, but it was very inspirational for me, and I needed to see it. Yeah, the art of letting go. So to me, the phrase, the art of letting go, the art of doing anything well requires you put in a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and for me that has been it's a daily practice. I practice mindfulness every day, meditate, and I do a lot of listening and reading and just trying to do a lot of self-improvement. I've been a fan of like self-help, self-improvement stuff for decades. And in a lot of ways, I really do believe that stuff, if you put in the time, you know, you might be surprised at the good things that can come out of it. So I try to invest in myself if at all possible. But yeah, the art of letting go as far as the record goes, then it's kind of got a broader thing because it's a different sound, right? It's a rock record. And for a long time, the first few years, you know, the first year in particular when I put out the solo record, I was like, oh no, I can't do a hard rock record or a riff-based record because I do that in these other bands. And I had set up these boundaries. And I think that's where this art of letting go comes in, which is like, you know what? Shadow those bands. Why? you're a rock singer, you're a rock guitar player. It's great that you enjoy these other forms of music, and it's nice to dip, wade in that pool occasionally and express that. But right now, let's get back in the stream we're used to swimming in and rock. No, I don't think it's any more personal than some of the other things. There's always a nugget of who I am and what's going on deep inside. It's been that way for as long as I can remember, even way back to the Mayfield 4 days. When you talk about like literally, those are journal entries, and that's really exposing a lot, arguably too much. Those are some of the most personal things. Because at that point, I don't think I was as understanding of writing ambiguously. But yeah, this record still has a certain level of introspection and certain level, to a degree, certain level of kind of laid and out there. And that song "Mr. Downside," I'm kind of, I'm giving you a glimpse into at least the way I used to be more than I am now, which is I used to be a bit of a negative Nelly, not towards other people so much, but more just toward like looking at myself and the glass being half empty as a half full in my situation. And it's like until I woke up one day after I got a little older, and I was like, dude, chill out. Like you've got it really fucking good. Excuse my language. Always a great feeling when it's tracked. Once that last vocal or guitar solo is done, yeah, because it's like finishing the biggest term paper you can imagine. Now, as far as when it's released, I don't know if I'll find relief. It's fun to know that it's out there, and you've kind of, okay, that's come and gone, and I hope some people like it. I don't think it's not like it used to be where you'd be all oh, I hope people like it. Because at the end of the day, some people are gonna find use for it in their life, and other people aren't, and that's the way it goes, and that's fine. But I'm not. It's part of that thing, this attachment thing I keep talking about, the art of letting go. It's like, well, if that's not the case, and people would rather use it as a coaster for their hot drink, great. It's a nice coaster. It's very colorful. Yeah, we're all kind of workaholics. We're a bunch of weirdos. I think we just love what we do. We do, and I think we all, some of us get very restless if we're not working. But I will say I'm trying as I get older, and it goes back kind of where I was talking about with the Behind the Veil, where it's like, okay, you want to keep being out on the road and work, 300 days a year and be away from your family, or are you going to invest, carve out some windows where you can build memories, and so that's become real important for me. So it's going to be, as time goes on, it's a way of, learning the art of letting go in the sense that I don't have to be making music 24/7, finding a little healthier balance. Hopefully I'll figure that out somehow, some way. Really just his depth as a musician, as a composer, as a person. I've listened to some interviews recently with him, and it's hyper intelligent. I feel like we've talked about this. I met him about a year ago. His Lightwork record, the record that was really the record that where I really got tuned into his work, and it's probably my favorite record in the last 5 years. I just love that record because the things he's addressing and the journey he's on spiritually and mentally is kind of where I'm at as well. And he just does a really wonderful job of articulating it and expressing it through music, and so I'm really excited to get to do some shows with him and spend some time talking. Yeah, we kind of experimented with it about a couple months ago, and it's just a matter of trying to not play too many of the new ones, because that's what you probably talk to bands all the time. We're like, oh, we want to play like the whole record, but you have to remember that the audience, they haven't spent that amount of time with it yet, so they're not going to know all the songs. So it's that balance of like just enough from the first record, just enough from the second record, enough to keep you happy off the third record. I will say though that they definitely translate nicely, the new ones in particular, and the old arrangement. The new arrangements of the old songs that we, those work great now, and we enjoy playing those. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, and we'll see if I do anything from the other bands. I don't. It's tricky now because I've got 3 records to tour, and so there's like no excuse for like, you know, it used to be, well, he's playing like an AB song, he's playing a Slash Conspirators song, because he only has one record to tour on. But we'll see what happens this time around. Yeah, I would love that. On one hand, it would be fuller and it would be easy. It would be much easier for me. But there is something about the three of us and kind of like the chemistry, where I'm really kind of afraid of effing that up. And also the challenge of playing as a three-piece, I kind of like that, because for me as the guitar player and the singer, it's hard because it's exposed, and if I mess up, you're gonna know. But I'm kind of cool with that, because I'm gonna mess up. I mess up a lot. It's just, that's the way it is. And people don't, if they want to listen to a perfect recording, they can listen to the CD. But you know, I've talked with a few people about this recently, and it kind of came as a relief to me. People are like, oh, I was at the so-and-so show, and you know, the guitar, you know, was out of tune, or he messed up this part, and we really liked it because it was like, it showed that they were human. I was like, okay, well, in that case, I'm gonna F up as much as I can. You're gonna know I'm plenty human. That's the challenge. Because I'm the same way. I'm like, I want to hear, but that's part of why this record was written this way, was the idea that, for the most part, there are a few, you know, there are moments. Okay, for example, Nothing Left to Gain, like, and then I have that melody, like, how am I going to pull that off? Because you're going to need, once that guitar riff disappears, it's going to sound empty. I haven't figured it out yet. I thought about like trying a looper pedal, so I'll play the riff, hit the looper pedal, and keep it going, and then play the riff. But we've got a few ideas of what we might do. Maybe start using our feet to play pedal. You know, Tim's got something up his sleeve there, so we'll see. We should fill it out a little bit so that, you know, he'll leave and go, oh well, I'm fine with them being a three-piece. Yeah, we've talked a little while ago, and I just heard his single, and I just commented how much I love the riff, and I love that verse is really great. And he had heard the whole Art of Letting Go, and was asking me questions about, what pedal do you use here? You know, just guitar nerd stuff. Oh yeah, we're very, very aware of what each other's doing and each other's kind of schedule, obviously, so we know when to try and fit things in the future. But yeah, I mean, he's just crushing it right now. He's got so many things going on. Obviously, he's got that record coming out. He's got the Sinatra thing, and he's got the Creed thing, which is crushing it over in the U.S. So, yeah, he's got, you know, there's another example of somebody who's staying busy. He's brought it up. He's definitely on board with that. I think it's a question of whether, I don't know. I'm the one. I think I'm the one you have to twist my arm. Because I feel like my only fear is with AB. You know, with AB we've got that, and if we're out together, is it going to make it so when we get together as AB? Well, that we already kind of muddied the waters. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. You know, it's funny. Him and I often joke about that. That in truth, we've kind of morphed into one. You know, I think we've learned from each other, so we kind of are good at doing what the other guy does. And like, even on the Pawns and Kings record, we'd do interviews, and we'd always kind of chuckle after the interview because people would assume that these really heavy riffs, oh, Mark brought that in. No, that was a riff I brought in. Or some of the like more kind of accessible pop songs. Oh, that's a Myles. No, that's one that Mark brought in. and which is neat, because what that does is just show, after 20 years of writing together, how we've kind of rubbed off on one another. But I will say that, you know, that was strangely enough, I was more concerned on this record because I'm not going like, when I go, it's riff based, but it's not like metal. I was worried, you know, is it going to be a little closer to the Slash realm? And it's pleasantly surprised that hardly anyone's bringing that up. So I feel like, okay, well, cool. But yeah, a song like "Miss You When You're Gone," I could hear that being like people thinking. I hear similarities with that, maybe an earlier Alter Bridge, and I think that's one of the reasons I didn't bring that to Alter Bridge, because I felt like we'd already kind of touched on that. But the reality is that song could have even worked with the Mayfield 4. Like, that's very like kind of from that era for me. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's just one of those things where, at the end of the day, your musical DNA, like who you are, especially as a singer and as a writer, they're gonna blur. The lines are gonna blur with your other band, and I think that's actually a good thing. Instead of fighting it, I know I did fight that for a long. I'm like, oh wait a minute here. You're 50% of the writer. You're the singer in this thing, and things are gonna sound similar. So let it go. That's the art of letting go.